Ladies and gentlemen, I just finished watching Pluribus episodes 1 and 2. So this is my first reaction to this new series by Vince Gilligan on Apple TV. And you know, before I got into this, the marketing honestly looked a little bit... I didn't really understand it, to be completely honest, but I knew that I could trust it because it's Vince Gilligan, and any Vince Gilligan show, whether it's been his time on The X-Files or whether it's obviously been Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, has been magnificent. I tried very, very, very hard to not let that bias ruin my experience of this show, whether it was positive or negative. I tried to go in as objectively as I can, as neutral as I can. And for the first few minutes of the episode, of episode 1, I didn't really understand what was going on. I didn't really see where it was going. Obviously, at that cold open where they discovered the thing, I was confused. And then once it got to where it was going, my God, this was my favorite episode of TV that I might have ever seen. I'm not kidding. I'm talking mainly about episode 1 right now. We're obviously going to pair that into episode 2 in a moment. But episode 1 was such a fascinating premise of a show. It started out a little cold, and I was like, where the hell is this going? But then as soon as it was discovered, the mouse that seemingly died and then came back and bit the woman, and that whole like happiness virus spread, I was hooked instantly. And every minute thereafter, I was glued to the screen like any classic Vince Gilligan or Peter Gould show. I know Peter Gould's not in this specifically from what I understand, but any Vince Gilligan project that has had me hooked to my seat, this one did too. And it's only episode 1, which is saying something. I think this premise is genuinely fascinating, and for it to have unraveled the way it already has within these first 2 episodes has me interested to see where it's going to go from here. Obviously, when we're seeing a new show or a new thing, we don't know where it's going to go, so a lot of it is like, what's going to happen here? I don't know how to describe what I mean, but you're a little more wary. I think with this show, with its premise and knowing who's behind it, I think there's some rest assured it's going to be good either way. At least so I think, but man, I gotta tell you, I was just blown away. With episode 1, there was so much that drew me in. There were so many things, like with the introduction to Rhea Seehorn Rhea Seehorn's character as Carol, being an author, and then her being a little moody as it is. With the marketing, I was like, well, I don't see her being the most moody person around. But then when everything went to shit, it makes sense as to why she'd be so distraught. So now it all clicks and makes sense. But that whole breakdown of her being outside the bar having a cigarette after she hasn't had one in a while, and those planes spewing all the shit in the air, causing everyone to get infected with this happiness virus, what would you call it? I don't know what you would call it, is so cool because it's such an interesting twist from things that I've seen. So it feels like a mix of a ton of different things. Like it feels like an apocalyptic show, like a zombie thing, like a From thing where there's these people out there that are just like calm and peaceful. It feels like a mix of like all of these apocalyptic hive mind sort of things, but in a new original way that I've never seen, and because of that, I didn't think this was going to be scary or anything, but that first sequence of everyone, that outbreak beginning and everyone shaking and all of that, and Carol going into the bar after her partner had fallen, was actually freaky. Like, that freaked me out watching it. So from Carol's perspective, seeing all that go down must have been terrifying, which is confusing for episode 2, because in episode 2, she seems to be the only one thinking normally about this, which is pretty crazy because everyone else is either enjoying the pleasures of it by literally getting these hive mind people to be their, like, prostitutes, basically, or just fed up in their families with it after witnessing all of this. It's fascinating to see that Carol is seemingly going to be the only person who is against this hive mind thing. But just to go back for a second, that sequence of her discovering and then her running out of the bar, then her going into the pickup truck because she couldn't take her truck because it had the breathalyzer lock on it, was so amazing. And just in classic Vince Gilligan style, like bravo Vince, of course I get to say that again, thank the Lord, but in classic his style, that the shots and the cinematography were so good. For me, it felt a little bit like The Last of Us when everything was going to shit and they were driving through the town. It felt a little bit like that, but it had this unique spin on it where Carol's face was fully out of focus and you're just seeing what everyone else is doing in the background. And then once there's like some spray of water or something that goes on the windshield and she wipes it down, the focus pull racks focus like right onto Carol. That was one of my favorite scenes, or shots, I should say, of like anything I've ever seen. That was a really, maybe I'm glazing a little too hard, but I was like blown away by that. I thought that was an absolutely fascinating shot that they did, just in general. And it's like those little details that really just set these creatives apart from any other creatives. It's the reason that Better Call Saul was my favorite show of all time, and they're doing it again here. They're just getting better and better at this. It's all the small details too. It's like little things like the translated subtitles in episode 2, with them being yellow, which is the same hex yellow as the brand logo of Pluribus and all of that. There's little details you don't get in a lot of shows, but they're just done excellently in this one. They really are. I was blown away by that whole introduction to this virus and this mind virus thing. And then from there, everything that came, every moment, I was on the edge of my seat, just following Carol and following what was going on and trying to understand the whole conversation between the president, quote unquote president, who wasn't the president, and Carol the whole time. I mean, obviously I get it now, but that whole time I was just like fixated in on this, and it didn't stop. And you know, this is my thing, like, when it comes to good TV, you know it's good TV when you're so fixated on it that you're on the edge of your seat. You have to like be so attentive to it, and like nothing is going to stop you from that. Like this is one of those shows already in the first 2 episodes that has me like that. Again, I'm trying so hard not to factor in what I've already experienced from Vince Gilligan and his crew in shows like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But I'm going to be honest, it's hard not to. Rhea Seehorn was my favorite addition to the Breaking Bad universe. Kim Wexler is a phenomenal character, but it's not even that. Rhea Seehorn as an actress was so phenomenal. So for her to be the central focus of this new show feels so good, so natural, and honestly, like a breath of fresh air for me personally, just because of how good she is. She had such incredible range throughout these first 2 episodes, where she'd go from being a little cheery at moments to being upset to being devastated by the loss of her partner to being confused and breaking down, and all of it. It was just done so well. So to see where this is going to go with her at the forefront is a thing I'm confident in. To see it by Vince Gilligan, like I said, is something I'm confident in. To see it set, or at least filmed, in Albuquerque and the surrounding area of New Mexico, which is where they're very skilled to begin with, is something I'm confident in. They have the foundation here already just on the creative side of it, like of the production side of it. But not only that, the writing side of it as well. This story it's unbearably individual. Like it is, I've never seen anything like it this original with its story and its idea. And it leaves me just wondering where the hell this premise is going to go. Because I feel like, in a sense, they already showed their hands by literally just like waving their dick on the table in the first episode of being like, yep, this is it. There's this hive mind, this virus thing that is spread. There's only 12 people on the planet left who haven't been affected by it, but we're going to get everyone to be like us too. I feel like they showed their cards so early, and to see where they're going to go from here is really interesting. In the end of episode 2, we see Carol had sort of a change of heart from her being the only one having a problem with this to her seemingly going back on the Air Force One with the one guy to Las Vegas. I'm very interested to see where that goes. Is she going to try to maybe enjoy it? I don't know, but I love the concept of it. I also found it tragic in the episode how she was somehow the only one who saw it for how it is, because it is true. These people have completely taken over. No one has individuality anymore. But on the other hand, is that such a bad thing? Because like the guy was saying, the guy, honestly, I forget his name. I apologize for that. The one who was taking advantage of the women and making all the nice meals and all of that, he made a good point in saying, since this has happened, there's been no murders. There's been no, all the zoos have been let out. The dogs have been released and all of that stuff. Like, he makes a good point. It's a much safer world. But also, to get to that point, what was it, 800 million people died, that they said? That's a fascinating thing. And then it's also fascinating that Carol is this sort of antidote, in a sense, where if she gets too angry at this hive mind of people, like the last time it happened, 11 million of them died? That's fascinating. So in theory, like, there's kind of an endgame sort of thing where she could, in theory, take them out by continuing to freak out at them. But I'd assume they would eventually hide from her because they're a big hive mind of people. This is the type of show that just leaves you on the edge of your seat, makes you ask questions, and I feel like something like this was desperately needed in media again, because I can't remember the last show. I mean, Better Call Saul for me was up there, but I can't remember the last show that has hooked me so hard so quickly and made me ask a lot of questions. I know From does that for me, for sure, but I'm just talking about, yeah, I guess From does that for me too. I guess I can't really say that, to be honest. But yeah, man, I fucking loved this episode, and these episodes, I should say, because we watched episodes 1 and 2. I loved them so much, and I can't wait to see where they go from here. Feels like we're finally getting good TV again. I just hope this lasts, because you never know. Just because Gilligan has wrote masterpieces recently doesn't mean that this one's going to be. I just think right now it has every foundation or every making of a good one. It has incredible actors with Rhea Seehorn at the forefront of this. It has incredible production from like everyone who has worked with Vince Gilligan in the past, really just coming in their own here, being matured after their experiences with, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. You have Vince Gilligan at the forefront. You also have an incredible original premise, like I already mentioned. All of that combined with the setting that it has, cinematography, all of it is making me think this is going to be another really solid show. Obviously, it's too soon to tell, but if these episodes were any sort of indication for me, I am not giving this one up, and I will 100% be covering it, even if these videos get 10 views. I don't give a fuck. I am going to be covering the shit out of the show because I'm just hype that I finally get to cover a Gilligan show live with you guys. I didn't get to do that for Better Call Saul. I didn't have the channel at the time. I wish I did. But man, this is right up my alley. I know Walking Dead is a thing we talk about on the channel. We're still gonna do it. But this one, man, I'm hype. So let me know if you've seen it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Did you share that same sentiment? Did you find it boring? Are you somewhere in the middle? Let me know all down there. Consider becoming a channel member because you will get first draft videos for my video essays and occasional exclusive content, as well as member shoutouts. And with all that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out. Special shout out to our brand new members. Seriously, it helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, but if you'd like to become a brand new member, the link to do so is right after the subscribe button. It will change to a join button. You could also find it linked in the description right under the like button.